What is going on, everybody? Welcome, and today we are building a forest ambush scene. We're going to be using some Space Marines for scale. It's going to be a little bit of a Space Marine patrol unit walking through the forest, sort of this valley-ish area with a hill to the side. And some orc boys are going to come across them, and like orcs do, they're going to attack. I think these are blood axes, so they're sneaky orcs. They're purple, so you ain't going to see them bad boys. We're gonna toss down these Space Marines here. Just a little intercessor kit, easy build intercessor kit. We're gonna use them for size. Just three of them. I think on the left side here, that was where we're gonna put down our hill. We're gonna be using EPS foam today because, in all honesty, it's pretty voluminous. There's a lot to it, or there's a lot of it in a small space. I don't think that's the right way to say it. It's cheaper than XPS because I don't want to use too much of it, and it does make these nice hills. There's a little bit of an overhang on that, so we're going to cut that down later with an X-Acto knife, and we're going to go ahead and glue this bad boy down with some Gorilla Glue because it's a nice strong glue, and I don't want this falling apart when we do the later stages, so yeah, we're going to glue this bad boy down, and we're going to glue this down, and we'll see you in a bit. Alright, now that we got that last bit glued, or the last bit of glue going down, we can start thinking of what we're going to be doing next and what the general idea of this scene is going to be. I'm thinking that I want some trees, and I want it to be sort of a hillside, so we're going to kind of leave a rough texture when we do the plaster. We got some Drukhari down here because at the time of recording this part of the video, I did not have any orc boys. My orc boys came in, I think, a day after I filmed this, so whatever. We're just putting them up top there on the hill to show you guys what the idea of the scene here is, which is sort of an ambush where they're coming along this Space Marine patrol. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get some plaster down soon. So we are going to be using just straight up plaster of Paris. I think it's DAP brand, something like that. Just some basic wall plaster. I also went ahead and built some trees. I would have done it on camera, but they were so tedious to make just on their own, just laying in bed or doing it wherever the hell, because it was such a pain in the ass. Just I had to find somewhere comfortable to do it that I didn't want to worry about filming it as well. So we just went ahead. How we built them, we used some wooden dowels. I think it was a quarter inch, a third to a quarter inch, something like that. I don't remember what the hell it's called or what the size were, but they were some small, not the smallest, but I think the second smallest size of dowel. We took those. We took some 19 gauge wire. We cut that into, I think, 3 to 4 centimeter long branches, and then glued that on to the dowel with super glue, and then use some clump foliage. And it looks alright. I'm gonna airbrush it with some Luftwaffe green afterwards, just to get rid of that extra glue, because the glue I used for it is shining through for some reason. I don't know why. I think I used too much. Looking back on it, I would not put so much glue on next time. And with the plaster here, I'm not too concerned about how texturous it or smooth it is. This isn't some developed railroad station. This isn't a railroad diorama, so I don't have to worry too much about being flat because it's not developed at all. It's just some woods, and I think the finger textures, like how the finger marks on it come out, make it look pretty nice in terms of ground texture. So when we put dirt on it and grass on it later, it's got some bumps to it and all that, which I think is pretty nice. And I mean, I'm also using my hands here because honestly, I don't care. It's kind of a messy thing to do, but it is what it is, and I stand by it. So we're gonna finish plastering this bad boy up, and then we're gonna move on to painting it. We're gonna be using some brown Craftsmart. Now, the important thing to remember with this is do not use satin paint, because satin paint has a shine to it. It's some like half gloss. There's a glossness to it. So when you look at it, it's actually shiny, and that's not great when it comes to dirt, because I don't know how much dirt is shiny. You know what I mean? And if we miss a spot with the later dirt texturing step, it's gonna look dumb. If you just got some white plaster showing through, or some shiny brown too, that would look pretty stupid. I think the brush here was a good idea for just the bigger areas, but it has its limitations, and I think we're gonna bust out the airbrush for it. I don't want to get too fiddly with it. I think it's gonna just take too much to just do it with a regular brush. So we're just gonna fit the paint bottle to the airbrush and thin it out. I don't have an actual ratio for airbrush thinner to the craft paint, so just make it until it's kind of watery, where it's enough that it sticks to a brush and it looks like it's thick, but then when you paint it out, it looks kind of watery. I think that's the best advice I can give. Maybe even a little bit more watery. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and airbrush this bad boy and just make it look a little bit better. So, we'll be back in a second. And now that we got all painted up, we're going to be adding some dirt texture, which we are doing with some tile grout and backyard dirt. I recommend using backyard dirt that you find digging around your backyard, and not potting soil or a bag of soil, because those bags of soil have these white things in it, and it's all clumpy, and you can't properly sift it, and it's just a mess. So just go ahead and just take some old dirt, I guess if you want to cook it or put it in the oven to kill off germs and all that and bugs, go ahead, be my guest. But I really didn't care, because I was going to spray this with Mod Podge anyway, and I figure if it stinks enough that it probably will kill them. But yeah. We're also using some brown, I think it's Earth Terra, whatever, color of tile grout, which gives it a nice look. I like how it came out. I also don't know how much of the dirt's coming out. I think the tile grout is overpowering it by a lot. And yeah, I think our applicator for this is a solo cup with some window screen used as a mesh, because, well, it's all I got. I'm going to be real here. I don't got much in the way of strainers. I think I have a small kitchen one, but it's not enough. It doesn't hold enough, and it'll just spray all over the place when I started to shake it. So we're just going to use this for now. And yeah, we're going to finish up putting all this ground texture on, and then we will come back and put some grass on. Alright, so it is the next morning. I Mod Podged it, and I also recommend not Mod Podging it inside. Probably take it outside and Mod Podge it, because this stuff stinks like really bad. So yeah, do that outside. And so today for the grass, I think we're using Woodland Scenics grass. I don't know what brand it is. I'm gonna be real here. All my Scenic stuff is secondhand, and most of the stuff in the box was Woodland Scenics, but some of it was German brand as well. So it could be Woodland Scenics because it's in English. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and kind of spray it down. We're gonna use some of this Elmer's craft glue. It's a nice simple glue. I think it works. It works pretty well for what we're doing here, which is not holding up a whole bunch of stuff, Like, I think the clump foliage for the trees needed Super 77, but that kind of globs up. I find that it globs up for me. I don't know if I'm just applying it wrong, but it just globs up for me. So we're using craft spray. So yeah. We're using Light Meadow Summer now, I think is what it's called. We're just kind of accenting it. I think we're going to put down the grass all over the entire thing, and then in certain areas we're going to add different colors. Like this stuff here right now, we're just going to put down kind of as an accent in sort of out of the way spots, because I think that'll look better than if we just put it down wherever. I think, because I tested it on my hand right there, and it looks pretty close to the first bit of grass that we put down, but not completely. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of variation where if you looked at it, you could see it. But if you just looked at it, you could say, hey, those are probably the same grass. If you looked at them separately, you're like, those are pretty close. Or the same thing. You know what I mean? But whatever. And then I think we're going to finish it off with some dark. Just a little bit of dark. Putting it, I think, under the trees. Putting it under the trees and on the edge of the... on the edge. Like near the sides of the hills. I think would look pretty good. We're just going to spray that. And, yeah. We're also going to be using an airbrush. I'm going to use my airbrush just as a cleanup thing here. Just kind of spray off the excess in case there is any excess. So, yeah. We will finish that up. And we will come back with some dark green. So, we are done grassing it up, and that is going to be it. It's looking pretty cool. We got some nice... I think it turned out pretty well. I think it looks better in person than it does on camera. I'm going to be honest here. But, yeah, it's looking pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all next week.